Hello and welcome to another edition of News Showcase. I am Priya, Tamil Nadu's first artificial intelligence news presenter. A quarrel broke out in Parliament between a member and a minister, both from Tamil Nadu, during a discussion on federal flood aid for the state. There was an outburst from DMK lawmaker T.R. Balu when Minister L. Murugan interrupted his questions on federal assistance for the state, which was ravaged by bad weather in December. The lawmaker, who was visibly angry, said the minister needed some discipline and he was unfit for the job. Those who came to the minister's defense said it was a personal attack and an attack on his community. Members of the DMK, which governs the southern state, indicated that the federal government was evasive and sluggish in handling the flood aid for the state.
Please sit down. You don't have anything. Please sit down. Please sit down. I know how to. Please sit down. What is it? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want, sir? Please intervene. This minister has got no. Sir, why should he intervene? Sir, he should know some discipline. Sir, he should know some discipline.
आपने कैसे एक मंत्री को अनफिट कह दिया? You cannot say unfit. आप शब्द वापिस लीजिए और इसको रिकॉर्ड से भी निकालिए. शब्द वापिस लीजिए.
Reports have focused on live-in relationships as the Uniform Civil Code was tabled at the legislature in Uttarakhand state. Reports say, after it becomes law, citizens of Uttarakhand should register with the authorities if they opt for a live-in relationship. All Indian religious communities will be subject to the law in matters of marriage, inheritance, divorce, adoption, and maintenance. A couple under 21 years of age in a live-in arrangement will need parental approval under the new law. Individuals who fail to record such partnerships risk 3 months in prison, a fine of rupees 25,000 or both. The Uttarakhand government convened a special 4-day assembly session on Monday to introduce the legislation, sparking a heated discussion about the implications of the civil code throughout the state. At least 6 people were killed and scores injured in a blaze that broke out at a cracker factory in Madhya Pradesh. The fire set off several explosions at the factory in Harda in Narmadapuram district, and there was panic in the area. Residents said the explosion shook the ground like an earthquake, and footage showed flames and smoke reaching the sky from the facility. Firefighting trucks reached the scene, and the district's top official requested the National Disaster Response Force to help with the rescue operation. A worker who survived the blast said there were 150 people at the factory when the fire started. There's growing concern amid reports that 2 people have died from an illness referred to as monkey fever in Karnataka. Reports, which did not identify the victim, said the first casualty was an unidentified 18-year-old female and the second was a 79-year-old man who died in a private hospital in Udupi district. There have been about 50 confirmed cases of monkey fever in different districts of the state, and these concerning numbers have forced health officials to call meetings and evaluate their readiness to stop the spread of the disease. Transmitted by tick bites, monkey fever symptoms usually appear 3 to 8 days later and can include a high temperature, severe headaches, and muscle discomforts. In the money laundering investigation, the Enforcement Directorate raided the homes of Aam Aadmi Party members and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's personal secretary on Tuesday, according to official sources. According to official sources, the raids were carried out at 10 locations in Delhi. Officials from the agency are also monitoring the whereabouts of Shalabh Kumar, a former member of the Delhi Water Board, and Personal Secretary Bibhav Kumar. The setting for the raids is the investigation of the Delhi government's liquor policy and multiple summons sent to Kejriwal himself to appear for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. The Chief Minister's party has dismissed the notices as illegal and said it was an effort to arrest him before the general elections due in May. Jio Financial Services, which is controlled by Reliance Industries, has dismissed reports that it is in talks with Paytm to acquire its wallet business. The speculation comes after the Reserve Bank of India ordered curbs on Paytm for what it called chronic non-compliance. Reports said Jio Financial Services and HDFC Bank were the front runners to acquire the troubled wallet service. The company stated in a regulatory filing that the news was speculative and it was not in any such negotiation with Paytm. Shares of Jio Financial Services surged over 15% on Monday after the report. Last week, the RBI prohibited Paytm from taking in new deposits or permitting credit transactions beyond this month. HDFC Bank has announced that the Reserve Bank of India has approved its plan to acquire up to 9.5% stake in 6 financial institutions, including Axis and ICICI banks. HDFC said it applied to RBI last December, and the approvals were granted in response on Monday. Reports said the approval is valid for a period of 1 year. In compliance with RBI guidelines, HDFC Bank must make sure that its total stake in the six banks did not exceed 9.50% of the respective institutions' paid-in share capital or voting rights. Besides Axis and ICICI, the other four are Yes Bank, Bandhan Bank, IndusInd Bank, and Suryodaya Small Finance Bank. 2 decades after betting on China as the world's biggest growth story, investors are withdrawing billions of dollars from the country's faltering economy, causing a seismic change in the global markets. With Wall Street heavyweights like Goldman Sachs Group and Morgan Stanley promoting India as the top investment destination for the ensuing 10 years, a large portion of that money is currently on its way to that country. Investors are closely monitoring the divergent paths taken by two of Asia's most powerful nations. India, the fastest-growing major economy in the world, has greatly increased infrastructure in an attempt to entice supply chains and international finance away from Beijing. Conversely, China is facing persistent economic difficulties and a growing divide with the Western-led system. The Buckingham Palace has announced that King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer, but it did not say what type. The 75-year-old was discovered with the disease during his most recent hospital stay for treatment of a benign enlarged prostate. According to reports, Prince William is likely to cover some of his engagements. The monarch has been instructed to postpone public obligations, but he will undertake state duties and continue to meet with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak every week. Messages of support for King Charles have been coming from celebrities, politicians, and religious leaders. In a moving letter, US President Joe Biden, who lost his son to cancer, said that receiving a cancer diagnosis requires bravery. At least 6 Kurdish fighters have been killed in a drone attack on the biggest US military facility in Syria. According to the Syrian Democratic Forces, an attack occurred on its commando academy located in the Al Omar oil field in the eastern province of Deir al-Zur. It claimed that the drone was launched by militias supported by Iran from a nearby territory under the control of Syrian government forces. It is the second attack since the US retaliatory strikes against Iran-backed militants in Iraq and Syria over the weekend. An umbrella group of militias supported by Iran declared that it attacked the base on Sunday. The US military, which is fighting the Islamic State group in Syria with roughly 800 soldiers, made no remark or reported any losses. Nikki Haley, the only contender for the Republican nomination against Donald Trump, has officially asked for protection from the Secret Service. The presidential candidate told the Wall Street Journal that multiple issues necessitated more security because it shouldn't stop her from doing what she needs to do. Trump has asked Haley, who is trailing him in the polls, to drop out of the contest and unite the party against the Democrat Joe Biden. Haley, a former governor of South Carolina and UN ambassador, now employs personal protection when running for office. At events, local police are also in attendance. Only the Secretary of Homeland Security can decide to provide her a Secret Service protection detail after consulting with a joint congressional committee. Tech company Yandex, which is dubbed as Russia's Google, has announced that it has parted ways with its Dutch owner to become a fully Russian-owned company. It was sold by its Dutch parent firm for $5.2 billion to a group of Russian investors, and the figure is said to be significantly lower than its estimated market worth. The company, founded during the late 1990s dot-com boom, set up its own search engine and faces charges that it kept Russian citizens in the dark about the conflict in Ukraine. The firm said the latest agreement was welcomed in Moscow, and it was the result of an extensive period of planning and negotiation lasting over 18 months. After massive layoffs last year, the tech sector began 2024 with yet another round of employment losses. According to Layoffs, which tracks job cuts around the world, almost 32,000 tech workers have lost employment so far in 2024. The most recent company to cut jobs is Snap Inc., which said it is cutting around 540 jobs, or 10% of its workforce. About 400 employees were impacted when software developer Okta announced earlier this month that it will cut 7% of its workforce in order to save expenses. Big tech companies like Amazon, Salesforce, and Meta Platforms are the others who plan to cut thousands of jobs this year. A Russian man has said that artificial intelligence assisted him in finding his true love. He claimed to have connected with over 5,000 women on Tinder with the use of a ChatGPT-powered Tinder bot. Alexander Zhadan said that after interacting with the women, he proposed to the one he liked, who eventually became his wife. Zhadan said the bot would occasionally set up 6 dates for him each day. He said that his wife Karina was unaware of the influence the bot had on her relationship and said she was cool when he told her about it. The Russian claimed that in addition to setting up dates for him, the bot also got into small talks with women and eliminated unsuitable matches. Thank you for watching. I am Priya, Tamil Nadu's first artificial intelligence news presenter. Do tune in, same time tomorrow, for a roundup of the latest news and updates in India and around the world.